Welcome to Tamila's world and to the Jamaican sounds.
Hello everyone, today I have a great pleasure to speak with Issy Gomez from the US. She's an author. Hi, how are you? It's a great pleasure to have you in our community.
Thank you so much for having me, Ed. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm all excited.
So just share a little bit more how you became author and what is your story?
I actually have a background in the military. So I used to be a soldier. I have a background in filmmaking. I went to school
That
for
was
film
I
and
thinking.
television.
It's so obvious, like for me.
So I have a little bit of everything going on. And I
Because
usually
she told me it's 6 a.m. and it's completely normal. So that's why. That's
yeah,
our
this is absolutely normal for me. Like getting up, let's make this happen, not a problem. But I literally like 3 years ago, and I kind of tell everybody, I hit that place in my life where I was just miserable. I was sick and tired. I was doing what everybody says you're supposed to do. I had the job, I had the house, fill in the blanks. And I was miserable. I was outside of my calling. I was outside of my dharma. I was not doing what I was happy. And finally, I tell everybody, I ran out of excuses. I ran out of reasons not to be back in my world of storytelling. So I literally started the journey, not just writing, because anybody can say, okay, so you missed it, you can go back to writing. No, we're going to go publish. If we're going to do it, go big or go home. So that's pretty how I started. I decided to go back to writing, go back to storytelling, go back to being that creative person, and then just kind of jump deep in the pool and we're doing this. So that's kind of how that journey came back.
Okay, so you said you come back. So just give us where that passion for writing is coming from. What inspired you?
I think like most writers, everybody's going to tell you I started when I was really young. I'm a passionate reader. I actually started in television. I started in high school. So I am originally from the Dominican Republic. Family moved to Massachusetts here in the US. And I literally around 14, 15, I started actually working television and creating little short videos, creating this world. I went to NYU. And it was all about storytelling. It was all about creating a world. It was all about entertaining. It was all about creating an environment for people that they can get lost in and truly create this sense of wonder that sometimes I think we lose as adults. I think we totally forget that it's all about letting your imagination get loose and smiling and literally laughing. So when I come back, I do a little bit of everything. I'm a really eclectic writer that doesn't have a niche. So I do everything from urban fantasy. So I do children's stories, I do contemporary lit. Recently I did a devotional. So anything in the spectrum of what I can do to tell the story, to literally, I want to motivate people. I want to inspire people. So I tell everybody, if this little Dominican that English is not her first language can start writing books, come on now, let's do this. We can make things happen. So my spectrum is, you name it, I'm pretty much going to write about it.
Many people, many authors, they really like to write, but at the same time, we know that only few can have a good life from that. In terms of in the business. So, how is that in your case? Is that your primarily a business, or how you combine with? If you have some other business, how you combine those two passion in? And give us just idea how that works in your case.
As an author, I do everything from writing, and writing is very difficult. If you're an indie author, you're doing a lot of more publishing. So the cost of producing costs definitely is going to take a hit. So I do a lot of teaching on the side. So I have a combination of business. I do teaching, I do motivational speaking. So you're doing two things at once to balance the passion. One of the things, if you ever read Elizabeth Gilbert's book, she says, don't let your passion have to pay for your life kind of thing. Because it tends to hurt. It tends to, if you're making your passion try to pay for your lifestyle, it becomes a little tricky. So I am definitely a full-time writer because it takes a full time to get this career going. But I also have another business. So I'm teaching, I'm coaching, I'm doing motivational speaking, enough to balance the side of the art. Because it is an art and it is a craft, and you got to kind of balance in a little bit of both.
Amazing. It's a great what you said, that it's a great to have your passion, but at the same time you have something which is somehow related with your passion and which is actually deliver the revenue and profit. That's great. And how do you want to be seen in our community? What do you want to share with the people? What kind of something specific, authentic about you and your business you would like to be recognized from our community?
I honestly would like people, if they have questions about being motivated. I think I'm the person that has been in that place in my life that I've been stuck. And sometimes I needed somebody to give me permission to say, okay, you can do this. And it sounds kind of strange, But I think as an author, we all suffer from what I call like the imposter syndrome. Like, I don't think I'm really good at this. I don't know if I can do this. And the voices in your head are always talking and they're always trying to keep you down. So my goal is to motivate people. I really want people to start living, we talked about the best life now is the only time we have. This is the only life you have. It has to happen now. So my goal is always to inspire people. It's always to get you outside of, your self-limiting beliefs and kind of remind you, it's like, what do you have to lose? At some point in time, we're kind of going, if you do this and you fail, what's the worst that can happen? Because right now you're not doing it. Right now you're not following your dream. You're not starting the business. You're not going back to school. You're not doing all those things that's going to make you smile. It's 6:00 in Texas and I kind of joke about it, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, this is what I wake up every day, like, to talk to people, to make connections, to truly inspire people to start dreaming again. Life is amazing if you believe it's amazing. If not, it's just the rat race. You're doing it all over again. You're going through the struggles. And do we really want to have that life? So yes, I would like to be that motivator. I would like to be that friend that reminds you it's okay to dream. It is okay for you to follow your dreams. And it's okay to fail. Just get up and do it again.
Amazing. I can see your passion. I can feel your passion. So what is the impact you want to have with everything you do? So you said you want to motivate people.
If you're looking for my book specifically, depending what you like, and I usually kind of tell people, if you like fantasy, you like a little bit of magic, I recommend my Intern Diary series. I'll take you through a journey through Texas. I'll take you through a world of fantasy, introduce you magic into your world. It's based on the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So it became interesting because when we got hit with all the madness, my last book in this series got released and it's called Judgment Day. How do you promote a book about Judgment Day when the whole world is going into chaos? And it became that ongoing joke of like, Judgment Day is coming, but it's really the book. Just bear with me. So it became that concept of trying to become, I know, I even had killer bees in this book. I was like, God, are you testing me? What am I supposed to do with this book coming out at these times? But my books, so you're looking something light, kind of fun. I'm all about action. So if you're looking for something to entertain you, you can pick up the Intern Diaries. I have a middle school series that is called Another World. I have a very contemporary lit war concept, very much in terms of like, what do you do, honestly, when you have nothing to lose? So it is the Cat Lady special, and it is that place in your life when you're divorced, life has fallen apart, nothing makes sense. And literally, she goes from being a depressed cat lady to an arms dealer. So my concepts are a little odd, and they're full of family concepts. It is always full about finding a family, defining your life, and literally stepping outside of those comfort zones. So I have a children's book series to help little ones find what they're good at. The first book is Charlie, What's Your Talent? How do I motivate little ones to actually not be 30, 35 and figure out what am I good at? That's my new thing. I was like, I can't have you be 35 and still questioning, what do you enjoy to do? So a lot of my books deal with very family values, deal with finding your own tribe and kind of having some fun. So if you're looking for that, I have a podcast series because I love writers. So it's called Inside the Minds of Authors. So if you're an author and you're interested in being in the podcast, send me a note. Let's chat. Let's kind of hang out. But the concept is, how do I give authors a platform? So I want to motivate people, but I also want you to meet authors who are living their passion, who are excited about what they do. So we introduce them. They read us a portion of their books, which is really fun. And then we talk about it. And at the end of every interview, they're going to give you a tip. They're going to tell you, if you're trying to be in this business, what do you need to do? From their perspective, we have USA Today's best-selling authors. We have up-and-coming authors. We had everything in between. And some of their advices are going to blow your mind because you're going, it takes discipline. It takes hard work. But at the end of the day, you can tell how passionate they are. So that's kind of those bubbles. And if you're looking at more of, how do I develop myself? I'm doing mastermind groups, and it's all about Dare to Believe. This is a new mastermind group that we're working on. And it's literally, how do I get you unstuck, if that makes any sense? So you're asking who reads my books. I always thought I had a very specific niche. I'm thinking, okay, so people between 25 and 40 are reading my books. And this is, no, I have 72-year-olds in England reading my books. I have all over the world. And I'm getting messages across, like, my community expands. Anybody who wants to be entertained, everybody who wants to have some fun are picking up my books. And I have everything from middle schoolers to you name it. So I'm like, who is my community? You want to have some fun? Come, let's hang out, because this is it. This is what we're going to do. And it's really exciting. It has become a journey of, how do you relate to people? How do you encourage people? And it's so much fun. It is so amazing. It is so incredible how small the world is in terms of like podcasts. I'm doing interviews in India and I'm doing interviews in Australia. And I'm like, I'm this little girl in Texas. How did you find me? Like, what is going on? So the world is exciting and it's so much fun just to connect with people in all sorts of levels.
Absolutely. And we have few authors in our group already. So what is your perception of this digitalization? So publishing industry is really changing dramatically in the last 5-10 years. So how do you see the trends in the industry maybe in 2020 and moving forward? Is everything is going to be digital, or you still believe like the hard copy have some place on the market? And what do you think is today easier to be publisher and author, or even more complex and require more knowledge and maybe require more network and funding? So just share your opinion and idea for all people who want to be authors, who are authors.
One of the things that this new technology, everything from Amazon to Barnes and Nobles, because you can publish anywhere, you can do it very affordably. The best advice I was giving is, the price to play as an author is you need to have a good cover, you need to have a well-edited manuscript, and you need to have a good background. Those are basic things, and we're always going to grow. The one thing about it is it's very saturated. There's a lot of information in the market. You're going to have books everywhere. Is print going to go out of style? No, it's not. Like, you have some old school people like me who love to pick up a book. Like, I will go to author events and I'll probably buy as much as I'm selling just because I love books. So that's not going to go out of style. You're going to have devoted readers who are literally going to be hooked on books. So that's not going to be, it's just a different demographic. Your e-readers are going to devour books at a much faster rate with a different categories. The same thing with audiobooks coming out now. The one thing I will tell any author, especially if you're an inspiring author, is you have to decide for the beginning, what is this? Is this a business, or is this just you want to write? Because there's a different way to tackle it. If you're going to treat this like a business, then you have to commit. And I usually tell them, it's like, this is not just a side hustle. This is going to be your all-consuming obsession. You're going to have to decide, what do you treat it? Because it has to be treated with respect. You're going to have to step up your game. You're going to have to do something that is totally different. I don't know, honestly, very much how many authors are not introverts. I think I have met, out of all the ones I've met, and I've met hundreds lately, maybe 5 that fall in the category they're extrovert. That they enjoy doing interviews, they're having a blast, they shine with people. That's not normal for most authors. Most of us, we want to be on a couch. We want to be safe. We want to be writing. Like, writing is the sexy part of the job, is the easy part of the job. Putting words on paper, that's what we love. That's kind of what makes it interesting, which is why traditional publishing is so exciting, because somebody else is going to do everything. All I got to do is write the story. There's a team of 30 people and they're going to put it all together, and life is amazing. Like, usually I'm like, if I can get all that, would I give up the business? Every once in a while you have to question it. I'm like, that's pretty easy. Like, I wouldn't mind that package. But if you're trying to be an indie author, if you're trying to be independent, if you're trying to have a business, you have to make that decision. And it has to be a decision at the beginning. Like, this is not a sprint. This is a long-term career. And you have to decide, what does success mean to you? If success means making thousands of dollars, what are you willing to commit to that? You know what I mean? If success means I want to write a book a year, that's okay. You just cannot compare yourself to somebody else on the other side. And that's the hard part. I think we're all looking out somebody else's window. I'm like, oh my God, they did 20 books. Do you have time to do 20 books? If not, what does that mean? And is it a rewarding career? Absolutely. You're going to love it. You can go to events, you can meet people, you can connect with your readers, you can truly create a tribe if you decide what that means. What does success means to you? I have some amazing friends, and success is we need to make enough money to pay for publishing and pay for editing. And they're publishing a book a month. So I was like, oh my God, when did you guys sleep? So it is those concepts. But when people are looking at it, you got to make a decision, and you got to do it early. What does it mean to you? What does success mean to you? What is that career, and how much you're going to commit? If not, we have a lot of people that start. They do great the first year. They have a book and they're like, this is really hard. It's a job. It's a business. It's not going to be, it's not going to be easy. It looks pretty, like talking to people and showing your books up and being excited. That's the sexy part of the job. Everybody wants to do that part. the behind the scenes, the marketing, the promotions, the actually booking of events, the booking of everything that comes behind the scenes that most so traditional publishers, somebody's going to help you. You have a publicist, you have a team. Yeah, that's exciting. But can you do it? Exactly. It's amazing. I recommend it. You just have to decide, what does that mean to you? And then the rest falls into play.
Thank you very much for clarify this, and I really enjoy to listen, because that's how it is. Like, we all see at the beginning something which is exciting, which is, as you said, sexy, but there is a lots of background, which is hard work usually, and commitment, and maybe even suffering for a while. But for all of people who still are not scared with your story, and who really wants to be better authors than they are now, or they want to become authors, what is the best way to reach out to you, and how that works? So how, you said that you have some coaching session and also like your community. Mm-hmm. So what do you recommend for them to reach out to you?
Anybody on Facebook that is looking at this, if you're interested, I have a Facebook page. Send me a note. It's dcgomez.author. I am on Instagram, which is dc.gomez. You can send me a note at my website. Is dcgomez-author.com. So I can be reached on multiple mediums depending what people are looking for. So I'm definitely available on social media. I'm available on my website. So usually the best way, send me a message. Let me know what you want to do. It says start a conversation. I think that's usually the best part. I'm a believer. I have been very blessed. I have amazing friends. When I started out, they said, let me help you out. There was no questions, no asks. Like, here's where you can go to start looking at promoting. This is what you can do to start looking for editors. This is what you can do to get you outside of yourself. So if I can pay it forward, it is a small community. Like the author community, yes, there's thousands of authors. Everybody says that all the time. But as a community, it's really small. And if you find the right community within it, you're going to be blown away, because it's a very loving community. It's a very giving community. And we're always in the same bubble. We're always a little bit kind of like nervous, like, But I have never met somebody in this community who's not willing to help, who's not willing to give you some guidance, who's not willing to tell you, okay, here's some people that I know that might actually help you get there. So yeah, just send me a note. Let's talk. I'm all about this. Absolutely.
This interview, what is your routine? How you you have your plan, you are publishing, you're very organized, at the same time you're enjoying. So what do you do to re-energize yourself? It's a 6 a.m. at your end, and you already look like ready for the day. You're already like, oh. So what do you do to re-energize yourself? What are your daily routines?
I usually recommend everybody, I'm a meditator. I literally discovered meditation about 3 years ago with the Chopra Center. And I fell in love with it. I am definitely an introvert, as giddy and passionate as I am for the world. I need some quiet time. Definitely at the end of the day, usually if I have a full day, if I do podcast interview, if I'm meeting with people, if I'm training, I need some downtime. And I usually try to recommend people, it's like, you need some space for you to recharge. So mornings is great to meditate. Like I start my day meditating. I start my day just kind of focusing on what I want to do and putting those intentions into place. I am a spin bike fanatic. So unfortunately, I do it about 3 times a week instead of 5, because I was going crazy. So I do a lot of that. I'm a vegan. So I have a plant-based diet. So one of the things that I had to do probably a year 1 in this journey, because you want to talk about intense, my life went from, okay, everything's great, to like, I'm doing massive Comic Cons, I'm doing author events, I'm on the road every other day, every other week I'm running around. And my health took a hit completely. Like I was exhausted, I was a nervous case, and I still had to do this, and I still had to write, and I still had to perform. So health became number 1 priority. It became, what do I want to do? So I changed my diet, became very plant-based. I changed my routine. I added lots more exercise. And then I decided, okay, I need some time for me. Like, what is I need to balance this bubble? So usually organize all the way. Do I like mornings? Absolutely. But it became that concept of I need to focus on where the priorities lie. Because it doesn't matter if I can do, I'm currently at book 13. It's really great and exciting. But if I burn out, what is that going to do? It's absolutely not going to help us if I'm burning out in the middle of the journey. So it became more, let's meditate. Let's do some exercises. Let's make sure I'm eating right. And then let's make sure that I schedule some time. Usually my downtime is like I have about an hour a day. And it's just for reading. Like literally the last year has become, you talk about reading. I love reading. I read Stephen King's book on writing. So any writers looking for a book, I recommend it highly. It's about 20 years old. Principles still apply. But he said you need to read. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank God. Somebody's given me the mission to go back to reading and not just writing. So yes, I tend to give myself enough little breaks. Normally, I would take a trip to the movies. I would do an artist day and take myself to the movies. Now we should do lots and lots of reading. Right now, I'm working on a devotional series, and I kind of tell everybody, if you're spiritual or not spiritual, it's okay. If you're Christian or not Christian, it's okay. I just happened to pick the Bible because I really enjoyed it. It's kind of my book when I need some guidance. But one of the things it's all about is actually very nonfiction. It is dedicated specifically to help people get out of their way. So this series is called the Dare series. Book 1 just came out. It is all about Dare to Believe. Book 2 is coming out late in the fall, and it's all about Dare to Forgive. I realize we live in a world that we don't forgive. So, and we're believing we're holding these grudges and we're holding on to people, and we think people have done something wrong to us, when in reality, the only ones that are hurting are us. So as I go through my journey of like becoming a much more, I think, wise adult, let's just put it this way, let's becoming an adult. I'm still trying the whole adulthood. Yes. I'm trying to do the adulting thing. It's a little overrated, let's be honest. Adulting's a little overrated, but I'm trying. One of the things that I found out is don't hold a grudge. Let it go. How do I do this? So I have a nonfiction series. End of the year, you're going to have another Cat Lady book coming out because my readers are going, when is the next one coming? I'm like, I'm behind. I'm sorry. So yeah, so there's a few projects in the works. A lot of fun. A lot of things to pick up for Christmas for anybody who's trying to plan their Christmas list. Yes, I'm that person. I'm here. So, and also you talked about the community. I've decided to start this project, and I recommend anybody in the business who wants to expand their community. I'm going to do handmade Christmas cards or holiday cards, so depending on your holiday, because obviously I have nothing else going on in my life. So one of the things I want to do is I want to mail letters to people. So anybody who is definitely into the holidays and is not getting enough letters, go to my page, sign up for the letter. I will mail you a letter this year. And my goal is to give you a smile, give you something to do, give you something to think about. Because normally all we get in the mail now is just either a bill or you get some like crazy
promotion.
Stuff. I know, crazy stuff. You don't know what it is. You're like, what is this? And how did you find me? I'll send you a holiday card. Depending on your holiday, you get to choose, and we go from there. So yes.
I will subscribe to them, please, for sure. Hey, and thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing the journey. And it looks that you really enjoy your life. And we wish you all the best, and looking forward to learn more of you. I feel very inspired right now. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. And